Um, so this is my new friend that I've actually been hunting for somebody that could assist me with this. And I've been looking for Skenar machines for a while, the ones from Russia, and this is the guy that has them. So tell us your name.
Rick Carleton, out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Website?
Website's to www.skenar-usa.com.
So tell them what a Skenar machine is.
Actually, it's a kind of a good wrap up, and I'll be brief here because I know we're all late. I've seen a few yawns, but it kind of ties in with really most everything that you've heard earlier tonight, particularly what Dr. David is saying, and even some of what the last gentleman here was speaking about. But the scanner was a device, just very briefly, it was developed by the Russians for their space program in the 80s. They wanted to take it into space to have the cosmonauts use something that would be non-pharmaceutical because they couldn't have drugs in the water system up in space if they got hurt or injured or had something happen to them. They wanted to have some way to treat them up in space. This is what they developed. They spent millions of dollars and tested thousands and thousands of people. In Russia, as you know, back then they had a different system than us, and they could force Russian soldiers to go through all kinds of tests and everything else. And they did this. They used their resources extensively and developed the device. It never got into space. The wall came down in '91. The Russian space program fell apart. But the doctors that developed this particular device took it into the medical community in Russia and started using it with tremendous results. It has moved into Western Europe, used extensively there, and it's come to the U.S. sporadically over the last few years. But there's not many practitioners in the U.S. I am personally a certified level 3 trainer. I've been certified by 2 of the Russian manufacturers to train in the use of the device. And from my estimation, the Russian devices are the ones that are to use.
And we've been talking too about, I think what we'll do is we'll put together a situation where you can come back to Austin and actually do one of the trainings, either one of the trainings or all 3 of them back to back.
Yeah, typically,
so we'll collect a group of people together to do that.
Question here.
Can you describe what it does?
What it does? Chapter 2.
Chapter 2.
What the device does, it's applied directly to the skin. There's an electrode on here. We talked about the energetic medicine, electromagnetic fields. This device is placed right on the skin. What it does, it'll read the impedance on the skin. We talked about information. Dr. Dave says information is the key. What this does is gather information by being on the skin. It gets a readout on the device, and they're comparative numbers. The numbers themselves don't mean a thing. It's the comparison of the numbers that's important. And you can do a full diagnostic system on the body where you can find the points of pathology on the body. The device will find that, and then this does not heal anything. What it does, it institutes the healing process in the body.
Inside your body, yeah.
It doesn't even treat. It allows the body to treat itself. The way it does this is it connects with the central nervous system. These impulses mimic the EKG impulses you see on an EKG, so it's the same electrical frequencies that the body and the brain use. When this device sends an impulse to the body, the brain responds and sends an impulse back. So it's an actual true reflex biofeedback device. The unique thing about this device over anything else, you've heard of TENS machines, anything out there, every impulse from this device is different from the previous impulse. So the body can never build up a tolerance or resistance to it. It gets the feedback from the brain, more information, so it actually engages in a dialogue, this device does, with the brain, and will discover what the pathology is in the body, and then it will direct the brain, say, hey, there's a problem here, we need to correct this, and the brain it'll release endorphins into the bloodstream, it'll release neuropeptides into the bloodstream, so the brain will actually initiate the healing process so the body can heal itself. That's really what it boils down to. It's an information process to alert the body and to assist it to initiate the healing process in itself.
Yeah, you can kind of think of the Skenar, what happens when Carl was talking about cellular ecology, what happens is, in simple terms, sometimes our cells, for a variety of reasons, go to sleep.
Well,
and this thing reboots, except it's not just a one-time reboot, it's a reboot and then a feedback loop where it gains more information, reboots to the next level, reboots to the next level.
What happens is the body learns, if you have an injury, the body learns to accommodate. If you can't heal an injury right away in the body system, it'll accommodate it. Mm-hmm. You'll have a tennis elbow that it's hurtful, but the body you just forget about it for a while. It hurts, but I'll live with it, and you just learn to tolerate it. This will wake up the brain to say, mm-hmm. You don't have to tolerate that. You can correct that. You can heal that. So the body will heal itself in that respect. The gentleman with the cellular said that if you have a cast, how do you heal that? Well, actually, the body is symmetrical. One of our sons had a broken arm a while back. He couldn't treat that, but you can actually treat the other arm, the opposite arm, because the body is fully symmetrical. And you can take a pain in one area, find the opposite symmetrical side of the body, even though there's no pain there. By treating that, you can actually institute the healing process in the other side to correct that.
That explains a lot of the techniques my father taught.
It's all about balance.
Yeah.
And most of us have our sympathetic systems turned on all the time. Jobs and traffic and cell phones and cars, we're hyperactivity.
So define sympathetic.
That's the fight or flight syndrome that's in our system. This can actually turn that off instantly and turn on the parasympathetic nervous system to give that body the chance to heal. That's when the parasympathetic is on, that's when you're actually healing. That's when the body rejuvenates. That's when it rests, when it recuperates. This can turn on the parasympathetic nervous system to allow that process to take place.
I'll trigger off the dead now.
So yeah, that's why I was suggesting that we put together a training here in Austin, because I know a lot of people like these.
About healing detached right now?
What the Russians will say, and people ask, well, will it cure cancer? What the Russians will say, and they proved this through the studies, that the body can heal itself with anything. And the pathology got into the body somehow. The body allowed that to happen. The body can take the steps to initiate the healing process to rid itself of whatever it is. Do we as individuals have the wherewithal, the desire? I mean, there's a whole lot of different ramifications on that. But to answer your question, it can initiate the brain to initiate the healing process for really any pathology that you have. Will it heal it? There's a lot of different answers to that question, but it'll initiate the process without a doubt. It's really, in my estimation, it's the world's best pain relief device that there is. I mean, it's totally non-invasive. There's no side effects to it. And in my experience, I've yet to see anybody that never got significant results from pain reduction with it. But the Russian studies, they claim about 85 to 90% of the people it's effective on, the rest it's not. But in my experience and the people I've trained scores of people in the U.S. and I still get calls, there's a wow factor that, it just did this for somebody, and I think, oh, well, I should expect it because I know what it'll do, but you still get that wow factor that this is really, really effective.
Anybody have any questions about the Skenar?
The price?
The price. Oh. That's always a good question. The professional unit like this that has the screen on it that gives you the readings, the numbers to really look at is $2,400, and there's some attachments you can get to it to do some other specialized things. You can actually work acupuncture points with this because it works on the basis of traditional Chinese medicine with the meridians, so you can treat that with the device also. And there's a home device that has the same technology, but not the screen, limited in its functionality as far as the adjustments, and that sells for $775.
Cool.
Is that a rhythm?
This is a rhythm, yes sir. There's three Russian manufacturers. There's the LET, the Rhythm, and the Anart. But those are the three true Russian devices. I handle both the Anart and the Rhythm device. The LET is a bit more expensive and doesn't really quite have the adjustments and technologies to fine-tune it that these do. But those are the only three that are the real Russian devices.
And you prefer this one?
I prefer this one, but just because of the fine-tuning capabilities, you can really do a lot of specific tuning for each individual particular case that you have.
What do you think about the diadems?
The which one?
The diadems. It's a Skenar cup. Diadems.
There's a Danish out there that's basically a TENS machine that's not a Skenar device. There's several knockoffs in the U.S. that they tried to reverse engineer it. You can have somebody reverse engineer it and make it and cost half what it costs to get it from the Russians, but it's not the true Skenar technology. The algorithms that are built into this, that they spent years and millions of dollars to develop, are state secrets over there, and you're not going to reverse engineer it and get all of those technologies built into it. You'll get some of the effects. Will it work? Yes, but the Russian ones, and I've tested half a dozen different ones, and the Russian ones are the ones that far and above give the best results for all my patients and clients.
Are you willing to do some work on? I know it's getting late, and I appreciate all you guys saying. But hang on just a second. So,
you had a question over here?
Yes. Have they done studies on comparing to just regular relaxation, yoga, meditation? Have they done?
Well, this is
there's no comparison.
But it's compatible.
Speed of healing, how much it is, like the difference in speed?
Well, I can give her an example. There's not even any comparison because the unit, Robert's got a unit, and I've seen people come in that had close to a half-inch differences in their eye orientation, and 30 seconds on a Skenar and they're level. You can't get that out of relaxation techniques.
Give you an example. I was in the UK doing a training session a couple of months ago. We had a woman in this class that had arthritis in her knee for about 6 years. She was elderly, mid-50s. Well, I'm over mid-50s, so I'm not elderly anymore. But anyway, she had arthritis in her knee, and she had it for 6 years. It's one of these bothersome things that she had. We gave her a 3-minute treatment just painting that knee. She said, the pain's gone. She came back the next day, pain was still gone. I mean, does that happen all the time? No, but if you have a chronic condition that's lasted for years, it's gonna take 10 or 15 treatments to get rid of it. But in an acute case, one treatment, you can get rid of it and it's gone for good.
And we'll be getting one of these very shortly, so we'll have those available here. Are you willing to stay for a few minutes
Sure,
afterwards?
absolutely, sure.
So I think what we'll do is,
have a booth at the?
Yes,
Oh, yeah, you have
yeah,
a booth.
booth 130, I guess we're right down the hallway
yeah,
from.
he's
from
right
Val.
down by Dr. David and Carl. Hey.
Big yellow sign up there, yellow and red, says Skenar USA on it, that's
Excellent.
us.
So we'll go ahead and wrap up now, and anybody, I appreciate everybody staying and your patience
And
because
thank
we
you for
got,
your time.
I know we started a little bit later on.
One question here, ma'am.
So we got
Your website again, please.
It's www.skenar, SCENAR-USA.com. The Skenar stands for Self-Controlled Energetic Neuroadaptive Regulator. That's the nearest translation you can get to the Russian word that describes what it does. So don't bother to remember that.
Somebody else had a
Yeah,
question.
it's for you, David, actually.
Yep.
I am also an exhibitor and a speaker at the Expo.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted to invite all these nice people to visit our booth too.
And we'll finish up with you. Come on up here right quick, and we'll